In this tutorial, you'll learn how to set up a complete set of permissions. We have a patient's data class, which already contains data. We have a patient's web form, list plus details. To create a new patient, we use the new standard action. When we click on the Go button, we call the Save Me function. Here is the function. To drop a patient, we call the Drop Me function. Here is this function. We haven't set up any privilege yet. We just have an empty guest role. Let's connect as guest. We can read the patients. Let's create a new patient. We can create a patient. We can update a patient. We can drop a patient. A guest can do all this because we did not set up any privileges. Because it's not a very good thing, a guest can run all those actions. We are setting up privileges. Let's create a none privilege. Allowed to read, create, update, delete on the whole data store. Let's connect again as guest. We can't read the patients anymore, so we can't update and drop patients. Let's try to create a patient. We can't. The purpose is that no role, i.e. user, will be affected the none privilege. Thus, we have completely forbidden all actions on the whole data. Now let's organize some actions for our users. We create a basic privilege. Allowed to read the patient's data class. We add this privilege to the guest role. Let's connect as guest. We can read the patients. We can't update patients. We can't drop a patient. Let's try to create a patient. We can't. Create, update, and drop are impossible, because those actions are possible for the none privilege only. The data class inherit from the permissions set up at data store level. We create the admin privilege. It includes the basic privilege to be able to read the patient's data class. It is allowed to create, update, and delete patients. We create the secretary role, containing the admin privilege. Let's connect as a secretary now. We can read the patients. Let's create a patient. We can create a patient. Let's update this patient. We can do that also. Let's try a drop. Drop is also possible. Now, let's enhance this. We create a medical privilege. It includes the basic privilege to be able to read the patient's data class. It can also update this data class. Let's create a doctor role containing the medical privilege. Let's connect as a doctor. We can read the patients. Let's try a creation. It fails because the medical privilege can't create in the patient's data class. What about the drop? It fails because the medical privilege can't drop in the patient's data class. Let's try an update. It is successful because the medical privilege can update the patient's data class. Next step. In the patient's list, we display the confidential info attribute, and we want only the doctor being able to view it. Let's do that. Remember, the doctor role has the medical privilege. We allow the medical privilege to read the confidential info attribute. Now only the medical privilege can read it. Let's connect as guest. We can still read the patients, but not the confidential info attribute. Let's connect as secretary. We can still read the patients, but not the confidential info attribute. Let's connect as a doctor. We can read this attribute. Thanks for watching.